So my idea for the lesson would be to talk about the concept around habitats, what a house is, what purpose it serves, how it can differ, just as we are all different, different students, different learners, everyone is different. So the children, I would have them listen to a book called A House is a House for Me by Mary Ann Hoberman. And this book revolves around the idea of homes are for living and non-living objects. I would then show them just an overview of the lesson. I would show them visuals on the smartboard of different types of homes, like a house for a shoe would be a shoebox, a house for a caterpillar would be its chrysalis, a house for a dog would be a doghouse, etc. All for living and non-living objects. Then I would conduct an open-ended written and art activity, which would be provided for them at the end of the lesson. So the main goal of this lesson would be to gather the students together to generate conversation around the idea of what a home is, how it can look different for everyone, and kind of let them think outside of the box a little bit for the living and non-living idea. Um, it's kind of to promote creativity and see what they can come up with. So the lesson would start with the children all gathered together on the carpet to hear the story. I would periodically check in with them to make sure they're all understanding, this kind of outside of the box thinking and try to gauge, at one point it says a mirror is a house for your reflection. So it's that type of thinking that this lesson is kind of, fostering. Anyway, so I would read the book, make sure that they're understanding the ideas of the book. So then on the smartboard at the end of the book, I would show them pictures of houses, a regular house. I would maybe show them the White House and then show them different things like an ocean is a house for a whale or a sea creature. A pocket could be a home for a penny, stuff like that. So I would ask them again if they were understanding the concept and see if they could come up with their own ideas. To show that everything has a home, living or non-living. And I would completely leave, a ton of time for questions in case they weren't really understanding it, just to gauge that they're getting this concept as a whole. So after the story and I was showing them images, after that ended, I would have them break into small groups based on skill level. So I would have them complete like the written and art part of the project, which would be they would have a sheet of paper and it would say a blank is a house for a blank. And I would ask them to come up with their own idea. So I would say, make a picture showcasing your own idea surrounding, the concept of a house is a house for anything, living or non-living. So as previously explained, to be certain that the children understand the concept of a house with relation to living and non-living things, I would provide, a lot of questions and examples to gauge their knowledge. And once I was comfortable in that, I thought they fully grasped the concept, I would have them, do the project. So in terms of the differentiated instruction, for the kids that might have a hard time coming up with their own ideas, I would ask them, just walk around the classroom and see, what do you see over there? A marker bin. What is that a house for? And they could, say markers. So that kind of, different levels of learning and, knowing that some children might need additional help to garner more ideas by walking around the room just to see visually what they can come up with. This would also incorporate their kinesthetic movement into the activity. So it's visual, kinesthetic, going towards different learning styles. And also I would provide different materials, to make their picture. So easier to grasp things, some things that's larger or more sophisticated materials. Maybe some children only want markers and crayons. I would definitely have, an array of crayons, markers, scissors. I would have pictures of houses, printed out, cut, not cut. So I would be really kind of covering my bases to make sure that they each, for their own learning level and style, they had what they needed to make their own picture. So after they completed their pictures, I would have them, each table would have a teacher. So if they needed help spelling or, depending on the age, if they're doing inventive spelling, they could, sound it out and write it on their own. Otherwise, the teacher would be there to help them. But so after all their pictures were done, I would have the children come back to the rug, and they could have a chance to share what they had come up with, and explain to their peers if it was a living or non-living being and what the home was, and just foster that creativity aspect of the mind, and hopefully come up with some good stuff. So yeah, that's my lesson. Thanks.